Ashton Gillotte comes on the board in the early third round. What were you guys' thoughts on? I know JD, talked about him in our one of our highlights, but talked about the relentless nature of him, how he's built like a brick. I mean, this guy, he was a state champion or a state finalist in weightlifting in high school.
Weightlifting,
you can see it in his arms. Look at those things.
No, yeah.
His legs, dude.
Yeah.
He's probably 70% of his body weight, 80% of his body weight is his legs. He is just all legs. Those thighs are massive, dude.
Man, so he made, I guess, Bruce Feldman's freak list, talking about just the way he looks. So you sitting there saying you have the wrestling background. I mean, that in itself, I think is a plus because you learn how to use leverage. You know how to get up underneath people. You know how to use angles as far as how to attack. And when you watch him in games, he does exactly that to the tackles. He absolutely destroys them. And so when I was sitting there saying, again, he's also like an all-academic, all-American, he's a good kid. And so he's a smart kid. So, they're not going to have any issues or no problems if that was one of the things that you were worried about. Well, shoot, we got a guy that we know is going to come in, he's going to go to work. And so he's a solid kid, man, and his production is another one of those things that I know you were talking about, like JT, what's that, Tumalato, the dude from Ohio State?
Yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah, kind of reminds me a lot of him. He really does. And so, his production actually shows that. So I think, man, with him, as powerful as he is, when you're talking about anchoring a guy on the outside and make sure he's not reached, he can do that for you. So you could give up trying to get to the outside on a scheme or kicking a guy like this out. Because when he's going to hit you with everything that he's got. And I'm telling you right now, he'll probably win a majority of those on the kickouts. And so we were seeing him, the dude up there in Philly. He was just talking about how he's just pressing guys on the kickouts. Like you said, you could just look at his frame, and he's just built solid. He's a solid guy, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if he's coming in here to generate pressures and pass rush, so you got Kalafkas, FAU, Gillotte on one side, and it's just high motor guys coming after you. Like you said, they're going to fall into some sacks, and sometimes he's just going to beat guys just off of power. And so that's another thing, too. He's strong enough that he can press an offensive tackle in the NFL back. That's what he can do. He can bull rush him and push him all the way back. Like we were talking about, like the cage rush, the ones that, Patrick and those guys do not like. Quarterbacks don't like that. You keep your pocket passer in the pocket and you start collapsing that parking on him, he's going to feel every bit of this. This kid right here, man, he's going to give you everything that you want. Like I said before, I'm just talking about, man, I just like him. I mean, shoot. What is there not to like about him? Seriously. So.
I mean, we talked about for many years. I know Karlaftis was a guy who brings the relentlessness, and I'm seeing somebody in here said that a lot of people are comparing him to Karlaftis. All NFL commentary compare him to Karlaftis. So that brings another question. We can talk about that after. But we talked about this the year we lost the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. You and I, JD, we talked about wanting to bring that Trey Hendrickson, that Sam Hubbard style, that relentless guys. Maybe not the bull rush type guys. Guys just at every play, they're doing whatever it can to get back to the quarterback with a 3-man rush, no blitz, just going and getting the quarterback. And we like, man, it'd be great to have a guy like that. And it seems like that's what Karlaftis is. He's relentless. Mm-hmm. And this guy seems like he's like kind of Karlaftis, like on steroids. I mean, because he just looks a lot bigger than Karlaftis. And yeah, I mean, and so like to have that guy on the other side, and then you mix in Omenahu, you mix in Jones, you mix in Lott. It just feels like we are going to come after the quarterback without having a blitz. And I feel like over the last few years, it seemed like we've had to mix up the blitz to get to the quarterback. And now it's like, nah, we don't have to do that. We have this bolstered defensive line that can do that. It feels like they're making a big point this offseason to do just that.
Yeah. They just made, a legitimate guy on the outside, like you said, creating pressure. So now all of a sudden you had to get creative, bringing your safeties. I mean, you're still going to do that because this is what Spags does. But you maybe now had to do a lot of it, right? Now all of a sudden you could have the 4-go rush and go hunt. That's what you're looking for. So now we're sitting there saying you got Gillotte, you got Kalafkas, you got Chris Jones, and you got a Norman Lott, who are pass rushers that come in. I mean, shoot. I mean, that's perfect. That's perfect. But that's why I said, man, I made that the tweet is just talking about the Chiefs want to bring pain. That's what they're thinking about. We're not trying to get creative, like you said, with all the blitzes. Okay. We just want guys to line up and go get you. Okay. That's what it's going to be. So, we were talking about what Hubbard and
Hendrickson.
So, yeah, man. Shoot.
We finally got it. It took us a few years, but it seems like we finally are trending in that direction. But it also, and I'm not saying we're going to stop the blitz because obviously it's what Spags does, but the reliancy on it, we're not going to have to be relying on it as much with these guys up front. Teja, your thoughts on Gillotte?
Just a highly productive guy. So 115 QB pressure since 2023, second among all edges. So, 21% win rate, another guy plus 19, right? So he didn't always come down with the sack. Some of that, he's not the most side to side, twitchy, agile, but he does have pretty good straight speed. He ran 4.63 at his pro day, which would have been 6th overall at the combine for edges. So he does have that straight line speed. He's just not stop and go. He will be beat on those kind. That's also very Karlaftis-y too. I've always done this about Karlaftis. Once he stops and then the quarterback kind of moves again and shifts and jukes, he kind of loses them a bit, right? He doesn't have that quick twitch. As far as PFF goes, 85 grade over the last 2 years, 90 pass rush grade last 2 years, 70 run defense last 2 years. Just so consistent and a big guy. So that's why you say, you hear 4.63, you're like, oh, 4.63, it's not that great. First off, he ran what some running backs that got drafted ran. I think I don't think Caleb Johnson was that much faster than Gillotte was.
At 275? Who's saying that's not fast?
That's what I'm saying. And he's not like one of those 6'6", 275 guys.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6'2", 270. That is stout. I was even seeing he played nose tackle sometimes for them just to generate on third downs. They put a nose tackle just to generate inside rush, and they put two ends. Could you imagine when you can get him? You put Karlaftis on one side if you want. You can get Jones on the other side. You get Norman Lott on the inside, and you get Gillotte on the inside. I think what they're thinking is you just have guys who can play all over, who could just pin their ears back and get to the quarterback. We'll figure it out later. You just want as many good guys as possible. We did have some holes to fill. Wharton is leaving back some pressures behind, right? And we were already having a pressure problem last year. We weren't. It was kind of like I said this earlier. Every time Jones left the field, they show him on the sidelines. I was like, oh man, what are we gonna do now? I don't have that feeling right now.
Right.
I don't have that. We have plenty of guys who can generate pressure without Chris Jones, and that's exactly what you want. You don't want to have to rely on one guy, and you can't afford to get all these pass rushers around him. So you need to draft young, juicy pass rushers. That's all it is. He's power. It's not a finesse game. It's speed to power. It's setting an edge and run defending, which he can do that. And it's just bull rushing and getting inside on someone and dominating someone when you can get there. Because he will get there. It will happen. I think he's just got a really high floor too. He's not going to fail. And that's the JTT thing. Remember we were talking about this with JTT. We were saying, are there guys more talented than him at rushing the passer? Are there guys faster than him? Yes. But you know what? At the end of the day, JTT, and I think Gillotte falls into this category, but they were saying this about JTT at the time. If you were going to draft guys based on, I think he'll still be in the NFL 8 years from now, JTT would be like a top 10 player because there are guys that are going to stick around the league and be a starting defensive end and just a crucial part of your defense for a long time. Gillotte has those characteristics as well.
Yeah. Well, look at it. The strength coach was sitting there saying that he power cleans 405. Said he's so explosive. His GPS speed from backside is 19.9. Running plays down. He's moving.
Yeah.
Backside, running plays down. And I'm telling you, when you see that gold flow locks coming from backside, buyers beware. They're sitting over here. commending how he's just knocking guys, pulling guards and putting them in the backfield. That's what he does. They say he's turning guards around. He ain't just hitting guys and just stalling them. He's turning them into the backfield. Like he's the one laying the wood. This guy right here is going to be a hammer. So I seen Noah John sit there and say there shouldn't be any concerns as far as this run defense. It's not suspect, not at all. To be honest with you, I think that we covered that with the guys that we have with Pennell, Levitt, and this guy right here. If anything, he's stout against the run. That's the type of guy that you want to anchor that outside, because guess what? Now all of a sudden the tackle can't reach him to his outside shoulder. All right. If he blows something up in the backfield, he's got the speed to go ahead and run it down if he needs to go ahead and redirect, go back outside. He has it all. This is exactly what the Chiefs wanted. They wanted to be able to get everything in one package. So now you got almost like a Mike Dana, and you got an FAU all in one body with this guy. That's what you have, really. And so he's already displayed the strength, 405, clinging 405. He's throwing some weight up, man. He is throwing some absolute weight up. He is a powerful human being. And I guarantee every guy that comes across him, they're going to know it and they're going to find out. You're going to follow, I'm telling you, Chiefs fans, y'all out here, y'all jokers right here, man, y'all going to fall in love with this dude. I'm telling you, you're going to hear a lot from him during training camp. And he's just going to they're going to keep talking about him day in and day out. How's Gillotte doing? Oh, man, he's doing phenomenal. He's out there hurting guys. We almost need to tell this guy to stop. He's that type of dude. So the coaches are like, hey, man, Gillotte, calm down. Like, chill, okay? That's our own running backs, okay? That's our own offensive tackles. Like, we still need our tackles here, all right? So, yeah, I'm excited, man, to see this. Seriously.
What now? This is the other thing I've seen online as well on this. I talked to Teja before we came on, and I mentioned this, and I'm seeing Slammin' Sammy ask this question, or not ask the question, but makes a comment here. Gillotte means we aren't going to re-sign Carl Loftus and save some money. What do you think about that? Do you think that signals a potential parting of ways with Carl Loftus in the future, or no?
It doesn't say it is definitive right now. It doesn't. But this is a contingency plan if it does happen. And this is one of the things, like, this is how the draft works. It does. Sorry. This I always said this, that you become expendable with the amount of money that you make. And so sometimes teams are sitting there saying they re-up every single year to get guys and get bodies here that can do the exact same thing. And I've said this before, and y'all have heard me say this several times. When you see a joker come in and look like you, same body type, you need to start worrying about somebody breathing down your neck and your back. So you better go out there and perform. And look, they are not going to sit there and wait for a guy to get ready or get prepared. So this is also like a, hey, FAU, you better start showing up. Just call it.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a lot of jokers like that in the room looking at him. He's going to come in on his tippy toes. Every bit is 275. They like, oh shoot. Secretly watching how much he's lifting. That's how it works. He's throwing the weights up, clinging them, clink, clink. And somebody like that, God, like, maybe I need some weight. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. Seriously. Everybody's trying to look pretty to go to the dance, right? And everybody's trying to start because it's more money in your pocket. So you come in, you start doing what you do, you're gonna start taking reps away from guys. So better perform.
Yeah, the FAU thing's very interesting, obviously, because we've been hoping by now the FAU would be more of a contributor than he is, right? And we haven't really seen that so far. Now you have him in there, kind of, like, hey, like you said, the guy who's going to be lifting 400 pounds in the corner there, and the FAU's watching him, and like, okay, well, that guy's taking your reps now. And then I saw, Noah John Marshall says, Mike Dana's on serious notice. A lot of those guys, the rotations are going to be, reps are going to be up in the air now. There's more guys in there now. And also, too, you throw in Janarius Robinson, who we just got from the Raiders. That's also, playing time. Jerry Tillery, also another guy in the mix to play inside, outside. There's a lot of guys in that defensive line room. We went from having a pretty thin defensive line room to, after tonight's draft, it's not thin anymore. It's a very packed and very athletic defensive line room.
With 5 more picks left.
And a lot of good defensive line options out there too. Joshua Farmer being one of, Deion Walker being another one, Ty Robinson being another one. A lot of guys out there still.
Yeah.
If you in the meeting
for a mock.
yeah. Listen, if you're in a meeting and a coach is on your tail more than he has been before, you know the writing's on the wall. You know that your time is done. I'm telling you that this is how it works. This is the NFL, man. When they say not for long, they are meaning they are trying to replace you every single year. This is a production business, pure and simple. Simple, you know. It's not a, what's the name? It a popularity contest. You know, we like a lot of guys, but the NFL is a business. So,
Yeah. That's when we got him, just because we do the show. I was like, oh my gosh, we got it because when I remember when we talked about him a few weeks back, it was like, he's a relentless guy. He's gonna be coming at. It's like one of those things, kind of what you said, Teja. Guys gonna be in the league for 10 years because you know what we're gonna get with him. You're gonna get high motor. You're gonna bring that tenacity and relentlessness, and every team wants a guy who's just an edge on one side of the ball. On one side, who just comes at it every time. He may not be a 20 sack guy. He may be a consistent 8 to 10 sack guy. That's great. I love that. And when you were talking about him, JD, I was like, man, like I wouldn't mind that at all. Like, and then it ends up being a reality. So love that.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.